Okay. So this week we're doing a blog assignment. We're going to kind of toggle between blog assignments and production assignments. And so for our blog assignment, it's basically creating a blog post, and we're going to have like different written reactions to different concepts. So this week we're talking about goals, obstacles, and rewards, and we're starting to think about how that works in a game. Basically, the idea behind this assignment is when you're playing a game, I want you to start thinking about like what's happening, like what different things are. And so even though the goals, obstacles, and rewards are very straightforward, I think it will change your mindset a little bit if you have those things in mind, that you want to capture them or identify them, like, say what they are as you're playing. So that's what we're going to be doing. So to start, we need to post on OpenLab. So there's a link to OpenLab here. If you click that link, you'll end up here on the home page. I have some instructions linked here. Let me actually link to this announcement. Oh, there's a lot of chats. I'll put this in the chat, but I'll have to collect these links somewhere else. I'll think about where to do that. Anyway, so you can see there's a link to join the OpenLab. There's a tutorial on creating your OpenLab account. Then you have to add yourself to the class, which you can click here to do that. There's also a support page that includes more information there. I'm actually going to open this up in an incognito window just so you guys can see what that'll look like. Okay, so when you first get there, you're not going to be logged in. You're going to have to click sign up or login up here. I already have an account, so I can't really go through the sign up process, but I can go through that with you guys individually. Once you do sign up and create your blog post, when you turn in your assignment, I'm going to take your link to your author page, and I'm going to put it in this this menu here so we can all see each other's work. And so you'll have your own page that basically looks like this, where you'll have your posts on the blog. So once you are kind of like in the blog, when you want to make a new post, you just hit this plus button up here and go to post, and you'll go into this like block editor. If you guys have used WordPress before, you may have seen this. If you used WordPress like a long time ago, you might have seen the classic editor. You can switch back to the classic editor, or at least I think you can. I might have to like turn that on or something. But the block editor, it's kind of annoying, but it's fine. So this is like a little tutorial on how to use the block editor. Basically, this is where you kind of compose your post. So I'm going to add my title here. I'm going to say blog on goals, obstacles, and rewards. I don't know why this header is so big, but whatever. In the game I'm talking about that I used as an example is Outer Wilds. So I'm just putting like the name of the game and the topic in the title. If I want to look at my work as I'm working on it, I can click the preview button, and I can go to a new tab, and it'll show me like what it looks like so far. So that looks fine. Another thing is it's going to complain if I don't have a category. So I'm going to go down to categories, and I'm going to choose assignments. I'm going to unclick uncategorized. So obviously these are assignments. Maybe we'll make two different categories for like blog assignments and production assignments. Actually, let's do that. So let's add a new category, and we'll call this blog assignment, and we'll put it under assignments. Okay, Dylan. Dylan. Yes, we do post the homework on OpenLab. Basically, all of your homework assignments will be posted on OpenLab. You have to add the link into Blackboard, but yeah, it is going to be on OpenLab. Cool. Okay, so add the category. and then you can start writing your posts. So for this assignment, we just need like a little opening paragraph. So I'm going to say, I played the game Outer Wilds from, I think I said to put the year. So Outer Wilds is from 2019. In 2019, it's a space exploration, first person. I'll just say first. It's not really a shooter. First person um, perspective, I guess, is what I would say. Game. Just like a little short intro, you know, you can add to that if you want. Obviously, you'll be talking about your own game, not Outer Wilds. Although if you are playing Outer Wilds, feel free to write about it. So then we're going to identify one of each: obstacle, goal, and reward. And so I took a bunch of screenshots while I was playing Outer Wilds earlier. I'll open them up and just show you guys what they look like. So let's see. I don't really have them in order. I thought I had a picture of the home page. No. Okay, whatever. Okay, so here I have like a screenshot of the map in Outer Wilds. And you can see that with this game, it's sort of like, in a way, exploration is kind of your obstacle because you're in space and there's all this stuff to explore that you have to understand what's going on. And so your obstacle is really like finding everything in the game. Another example of an obstacle. So I got sucked into a black hole and I got shot out into like the middle of space somewhere. And so you can see my ship is 20 kilometers away. I'm going to try not to like ruin the premise of this game if you guys haven't played it yet. It's pretty cool, but it's very easy to kind of to spoil it. So anyway, I'm just like stuck in the middle of space and I like, you know, can't get to my ship. So that's another obstacle again, is like how much space there is in space. An early thing that you have to do is you have to find the launch codes for your ship. And so that's kind of like an obstacle and a reward. I have to walk around to find the launch codes. And then once I find the launch codes, I can enter them and I can take off in the ship. Another goal is on the map, you see these kind of like different planets that you haven't explored yet. And so one of the goals is just like getting to all the planets to explore them. The alien language is sort of like a reward. So if you like get to a place, you get to read about the history and the context of that place through this like alien language interpreter. So that's like a type of reward that adds to your knowledge of what's going on. So, you know, once you kind of explore the space, you get this reward as far as knowledge. And then another example of that is on the map, once you have explored a space, you get to learn some information about that space. So I have a few different examples. You guys only need 3. So I'm just going to post a couple of these. So I'm going to start with this goal. So the goal is illustrated here by this empty spaceship. Actually, I didn't really show the rest of the map, but in the rest of the map, if you find a place, it's more of like a drawing. So you can see that you can see the difference between places that you've been to and places you haven't. So I'm to add an image, I can, I'm gonna close this. Okay, so if I wanna add an image, I can drag it on here and it'll just automatically upload. I can also like go through the process of uploading it, so I'll show that next. But now I have this like little block. I guess I don't want this block above it, so I got rid of that. And so there I have the image, and then now I can add, you know, one goal in the game is to explore all of the planets in the solar system. You know, really simple, however much you need to like kind of write to explain what's going on here. I'm gonna refresh my page just to see. Oh, I guess I have to hit the preview again. Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't update my preview. So let's go back to preview and take a look. The image is actually really small. I wonder if that's something I can change. I might have to change. I kind of just chose like a random theme, but it's a little weird. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. Yeah, Natalie.
Wait, so we're not posting this on Blackboard? We're gonna post this on the Open Lab page?
Yeah, you're gonna post it on the Open Lab, but then you'll submit it on Blackboard. I'll go over that at the end. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the obstacle. So I'm gonna go to a new block, and I'm gonna, for this one, I'll add an image this way. So I'll click on image, and then I'll upload, and then I'll go to my desktop. And I'm doing an obstacle, so I'm gonna do lost in space. And so I'll then write, because the space is so large, it's easy to get lost and lose your ship. Oops. This is another obstacle in the game, the vastness of space. Okay, so that's my obstacle. So then I just need my reward. So I'm gonna go with the alien language. So I'm gonna drop this guy in here. And I'm gonna write, when you explore different planets, there is an alien language that can be read to reveal the history of that planet or building. Sometimes they're in buildings. Okay, so that's my like final part, one of the rewards. So I just need an example of each one. Feel free to add more to it if you want to, but you only need one example of each to get started. And so there I have my, my little intro, my images, and now I'm ready to go. What I have to do now is I have to publish this article or this blog post. So I'm going to hit publish, and I'll say publish. And once I publish, it's going to generate a URL for me, and that's what I'm going to put on Blackboard. So I'm going to click copy link here. If I click view post, it'll go to like the public post. Okay, and so I can also get the link from there. But that's what I want to submit on Blackboard. So when I do submit this assignment, I'll go to the assignment. I'm going to go to student view, so it'll look like what you guys get. So I'll go to assignments. So one thing, I don't know, some classes may use this or not, but I will almost always have a rubric associated with the assignment. This is basically just like a checklist so that you guys know what you need to do. So when you click on the rubric, you're gonna see all of the requirements for the assignment and then descriptions of what those requirements are. It's usually pretty straightforward, but it's just a way for you to make sure you have everything. It also makes it easier for me to give you feedback. So, you know, when I do grade your assignment, I will give you feedback in the actual rubric. So that's another thing that we'll go over later, is that once you get the feedback from the assignment back, you actually have to open the rubric to see my comments. And so if you got some points off, I'll explain why you got points off in the rubric. If you got 100, I may still add some comments and say like, this is good, but you could have done this better, or what about this other possibility or something like that. So you always want to make sure to read the rubric, even if you're happy with the grade that you got. So you can see the requirements for this assignment. So blog post on the class site, very simple. Game intro, that's that first sentence, is 10 points. Describing the goal is 20 points. Describing an obstacle is 20 points. Describing a reward is 20 points. And then the images together are all 20 points. So if you miss one of those things, I'll just say you didn't have this part, and I'll take those points off your final grade. So that's the rubric. So then to make the submission, you just click write submission, and then you paste in your link to the blog. If you want to be fancy, you can write some text and say my blog post, and then you can select all of that text and you can add a link. You can also hit Command K or Control K, and you can paste the link in here. If you want to be really fancy, say open in a new window, insert, and that's it. That's the whole assignment. That's all you have to do on Blackboard. So once you're done with that, you can also write other stuff if you want to in there and say like, oh, you know, blah, 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 but you don't need to. Then you would just click submit, and this is what it'll look like. And then, you know, eventually I'll grade it. So I'll basically just look at the rubric and say, did they do this? Check, 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 check. And then you know, you'll see that grade. So that's pretty much the whole process for this assignment. I'm going to talk a little bit about screenshots for a second. Does anybody have any questions before I do that?
Yeah, could you just go over how to create the blog again, or like create the blog post?
Yeah. If you're on the blog page, so like if you're on the Open Lab page, which is linked from the Blackboard, if you're signed in, you will see this like Open Lab header at the very top, and you just have to click the plus and click plus post.
Okay.
That'll open up the post window. If you're already like in the dashboard for some reason, you can click the plus here. It's still there, or you can go to like all posts and go to add new, or you know, there's a few different ways to do it. Travis.
So basically, we just talking about a recent game we played.
You can do a game that you're playing now, or if you want to do a game that you played in the past, or if you want to choose a new game to start, you know, all of those are fine. All right. So let's talk about screenshots, and then we'll be done with this part. So I made my post using screenshots. I did it actually on Windows because it's a Windows game, and all I really did was hit the print screen button with the Windows key, and then I saved those images, and then I, you know, transferred them over to my Mac. I'm obviously on a Mac now, so I can't demonstrate that, but if you go to the assignments page, I'm going to exit the student preview. If you go to the assignments page, I included links to Windows screenshot and Mac screenshot tutorials. They're not tutorials that I made, I just found them on YouTube. They're both kind of silly, but I think I watched actually a few different ones, and I, you know, chose ones that I thought were, you know, the most straightforward and covered the most useful information. So Windows, you can watch that. Basically, you can just hit print screen. A lot of games have screenshotting tools built into them these days. So if you're familiar with that, you can use that as well. If you're on the Mac, there's also a link to do a screenshot on the Mac. I'll go over a couple of things that I do when I'm doing a screenshot on the Mac. So if you're playing a game that's in a window, like if it's not full screen, if it's full screen, you can just hit Command-Shift-3, and you'll see a little image come up on your desktop, and then you can like click on it and edit it, do whatever. And it'll just save to your desktop, so it's pretty simple. Another thing that you can do though, if you have a game that's inside of a window, is you can actually, let me go back to the blog page. Whoops. So if you hit Command-Shift-3, or sorry, Command-Shift-4, let me turn my keycaster on. Okay, if you hit Command-Shift-4, and then you get this little like drag and drop tool, you can drag over an area of the screen that you want to capture, and it'll just capture that. So you could like manually capture the window. But what I actually really like to do when I'm doing screenshots is if you hit Command-Shift-4 and then you hit space, you get this little camera guy, which you can actually just screenshot a specific window. So if I click on this window, then I get a screenshot that is everything that was in that window, including the UI. So that's what this screenshot looks like. It looks, exactly like the browser looked like. So those are a few different ways of doing a screenshot on the Mac. If you have trouble screenshotting either on Mac or on Windows, like ideally you'll be making these screenshots when you personally are playing the game. But if you're not able to do that for whatever reason, just like go on, Twitch and find somebody who's playing the game and then screenshot them. Okay, so if I go to twitch.tv and I'm watching a game, let's watch. Let's see, how do I mute this? Okay, I'm just gonna mute that real quick. Let's see, I'm gonna go to a Fortnite channel.
I'm a huge fan of Moist Critical.
Oh yeah? Is that who that DJ was?
What happened?
Is that who that DJ was? Oh, that's one of these,
Yeah.
one of the players. Got it. Anyway, so if you're watching something on Twitch, this is an ad. Oh, it's kind of a long ad, Jesus. Anyway, you can, when you see what you're looking for, like a goal, obstacle, or reward of the player who's playing the game, then you can do the little screenshot. So you can do Command-Shift-4, hit space to get the camera, and then screenshot the browser. So now I have the screenshot and I can see, what the player was doing. You can also just like find images, like, if you go on Google and go to images, if you're looking for a specific image, like let's say I wanted like this, intro image from Outer Wilds, you can use that as well. Again, ideally you're taking the screenshots yourself so that you can find those components of the game and then write about them. But if you really need to, you can always, find the images from other sources. If you are doing it on Google, you guys have probably heard this before, but you probably want to go to usage rights and do Creative Commons. So that way, you're not stealing copyrighted material. I'm not super worried about that, especially like if you're capturing like a Twitch stream or something like that, because we are writing original articles about it, and it's also in a educational setting. So I'm not too worried about that. Anyway, so those are my screenshotting overview. Any screenshot related questions?
So basically, you just want us to like explain like the game that we're playing, and give like a detailed description on like how like everything works.
Not everything, just like one example of each of these three things: a goal, an obstacle, and a reward. So, my whole blog post is really only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences. It doesn't have to be super long, and I have 3 images to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. So you don't have to do every goal in the game, just one example of a goal. Same thing with the obstacle and the reward.
Okay, so sounds good. Thanks.
Cool. I think that's everything I need to do for this video. I'm trying to think if there's anything I left out. I don't think so. So yeah, I'm gonna stop recording and